Guys, I'm sure you've all heard the news. It's been very hard for a lot of people. A lot of people are losing sleep over this. If I am being the bearer of this news to you, I apologize, but this is something that needs to be talked about because a huge tragedy just happened on American soil that it's rocking the nation right now. It's rocking the world right now, the world of Twitter, because everyone is losing their minds that are retro gamers right now in the retro gaming sphere because of what that bastard Logan Paul did to those Game Boy Colors. And I wish I was joking. I wish this was just a big joke, but no. Twitter is absolutely losing its mind and seething right now at Logan Paul and what he did to 15 Game Boy Colors. Now, before we get into the tragedy and before we make fun of some people that are on Twitter, I would just like you guys to know I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I really don't know anything about this dude. I remember the whole Japan situation. I've watched a couple of his fights. Like, it's not content for me. I don't feel the need to watch his content. But one thing that I think is obvious is that he does have a passion for video games. I mean, nobody will go out there and, go out to the ring with like $100,000 Pikachu card around his neck if he didn't actually like Pikachu, if he didn't actually like Pokemon. So Logan Paul doing something with Game Boy Color systems, that's not outside the realm of possibility to happen. It seems like that would be a system that he was probably very young when that first came out, and that may have been his first handheld system, so there's a lot of nostalgia on it. But in case you haven't seen the shocking video, basically there was a TikTok made where Logan Paul took some Game Boy Color shells, put them in resin, and then made like a little table out of it. Now, I think the table looks all right. It's not something that I would necessarily have. I'm not really, art is in the eye of the beholder or something like that. So, it's not something that I would go out of my way to buy, but people have absolutely lost their minds on Twitter about this. The replies, the whole response to this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, before we get into the fun Twitter stuff, I want to look at this video with you guys, because if you guys were such big retro gamers like you're claiming you were, this video wouldn't be a big deal to you, because you would watch this video and you would think exactly what I think. Now, looking at the Game Boy Colors that he allegedly used in this video, one thing stands out. A lot of these are custom Game Boy Colors. They're not actual Game Boy Colors that released. They might not even be actual Game Boy Colors. They could just be empty shells. There's no Pokemon edition or Tommy Hilfiger edition Game Boy Colors in here. No, they're like multicolored Game Boy Colors. There's things with graphic designs that were never available. There's colorways of these Game Boy Colors that were never actually Game Boy Color systems. But you guys are all big retro gamers though. All you guys on Twitter, which some people still think is a real place, but I've never been one of those people. You guys think that these are actual real Game Boy Colors. 15 of them, in fact, were used for this art project, and Twitter has absolutely lost its mind. And the fact of the matter is, do you know how many Game Boy Colors sold in the world? Now, we don't have an actual estimate because Nintendo actually puts Game Boy and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Pocket all together. But at the release of the Game Boy Color, Nintendo had sold about 60 million or so original Game Boys and Game Boy Pocket systems. Then Game Boy, of course, lineup of Game Boys sold about 120 million. So on the low end of things, let's say 45 million of these were sold. Is this a rare item? Is this a scarce item? Are we going to go after people who are on Etsy right now making things like NES Zapper lamps and NES lamps? I have an NES that's a shell of an NES that's actually a computer. Are we going to get mad at me, or are we going to try and freak out on me? No, it's obviously because Logan Paul is a controversial figure. But like I said, I don't know anything about the guy. I just see a dude who probably grew up with the Game Boy Color. He really has fond memories of it. So he decided to take his Game Boy Colors that he's bought over the years, or maybe he bought a lot of them, and then decided to do some artwork. But let's look at some of these awesome comments. Our first comment. And I have, blacked out their names and stuff like that because I don't want people bitching at me. I'm not here to make friends, though. You'll probably recognize some of these Twitter accounts. I don't care. I've made enough friends on YouTube. I've got my crew. I know my friends. Like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make fun videos. I've been trying to buy a Game Boy Color for years, and here you are destroying ones that could be put to use. You dead ass right now? You're dead ass serious saying that. You've been trying to buy a Game Boy Color for years. Have you ever gone to, I don't know, a video game convention? You obviously have some way to access the internet. So I'm going to assume you know about this website called eBay. And on this website, eBay, you can actually purchase retro video games. There's an app called Whatnot as well, where you can purchase retro video games and retro video game consoles live. There are these things called retro video game stores that usually are in a lot of towns. You know, you might have to drive a half hour or so to get to one, but who has been looking for a Game Boy Color for years? And Logan Paul buying 15 of them has now decimated the over 40 million that sold of this, because bad man. Next comment. We have someone being logical, don't understand what people's problems are. He bought the Game Boy Colors. He's allowed to do what he wants with them. There aren't just 15 Game Boy Colors in the world. To which this interesting Twitter account says, there aren't now, but he's helping this number to become a reality. It's a small step for a rich guy, a giant leap into a life devoid of hobbies for the poor majority. So he's rich because he bought 15 Game Boy Colors. What? But these weren't sealed Game Boy Colors. We've already established that these were not actual Game Boy Colors, some of them, because they're not. You look at the shells, they're obviously not Game Boy Colors. If anything, they might be a custom Game Boy Color. It may just be a custom Game Boy Color shell, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Game Boys and Game Boy Colors are very highly customizable. There are companies that make new parts for Game Boys all the time. There's new screens you can get on them as well. There's new out shells for the systems as well. So it's not like this is a scarce thing. It's not like we're talking about a Virtual Boy or an Atari Jaguar or something like that. No, we're talking about a system that sold over 40 million systems, and they are still producing new shells for these systems in places like China because of the fact that there is a large modding scene with this. So should people not mod their Game Boys? Are the people that mod Game Boys rich people because those rich bastards? Like, moving on. What a wasteful, frivolous, tacky display of wealth. That's 15 Game Boys actual collectors won't be able to play. What is this? What is this assimilation with Game Boy Colors and wealth? Where did this come from? Like, at the most, you're going to spend, what, maybe $60 on a nice, clean Game Boy Color on eBay? So $60 is now a definition of wealth? Like, at the most, he spent $1,000. At the most, he spent $1,000 if these were actual Game Boy Colors, which this retro gamer should have realized, hey, because he seems to be an actual collector, he should have realized that this was indeed not an actual Game Boy Color. But let's say it was. So he spent $1,000, and now you're rich if you spend $1,000? I think I'm gonna be sick. I think I'm gonna be sick. How can he do this? How can he do this to the Game Boy Colors? This is why people don't like retro gamers. This is why people on YouTube just get tired of talking about retro games, because there are weird people like this who gatekeep the hobby, and they you know, it's an well, actually, you said this wrong, and like you're Satan himself for saying something wrong. I think I'm going to be sick. If this is your biggest problem in life, this is going to make you sick. You have a damn fine life. You have a damn fine life. Thanks for epping up a video game preservation prick. Jesus Christ. If you honestly believe that, one individual buying 15 Game Boy Colors, which are not real, we've already established them, but let's say they are real. These 15 Game Boy Colors, this is what's going to ruin video game preservation. What does him buying something have to do with your Game Boy Color that I'm assuming you have because you're a big retro gamer? Shit like this makes collecting retro gaming harder for the rest of us. This is why we pirate and emulate stuff, because rich assholes have been making it harder and harder for us to get legitimate hardware. Jesus Christ. I can't believe somebody sat there and typed that over a Game Boy Color. If it was a Virtual Boy, you would have potentially a case. I have 2 working Virtual Boys. You know what's funny? I used a Virtual Boy as a hood stand because I had an old Mercedes-Benz that I had, and my buddy was big into car customization. So I painted that Mercedes-Benz two-tone. I put a red pinstripe down it. The top was silver. It had a red pinstripe. The bottom was black. I named it the Nimbenzo. I got a custom license plate. I put an NES in there. I had an in-dash screen. I had a subwoofer in the back. I had custom floor mats. I had all sorts of fun stuff in there. And we did one car show, and during that car show I used my Virtual Boy as the hood prop because I thought it would be cool. I won best themed car, and then I never entered another car show. But am I a bad person? Am I a rich asshole for doing that? Look, I was making like maybe $1,200 every 2 weeks at that point in life, but I guess I'm a rich asshole. And our final one, this is not okay. This is not okay. And this is a big Twitter account too. I looked them up. I've never heard of them before, but they have like 25,000 Twitter followers. They're big in the retro gaming community. But this is asinine. This is absolutely asinine. If some white girl did this, you know, as like a Pinterest project or something like that, all these nerds would be jerking off to her and be like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I love you, baby. You're such a retro gamer. People only care because Logan Paul is a controversial person. He's a controversial topic. I get it. You don't have to like the individual, but to act like this is like the cause of World War III and this is one of the greatest travesties ever because one individual bought 15 Game Boy Colors, which we've already established they're not actual Game Boy Colors because some of those shells are definitely not Game Boy Color official shells, but let's just say they are for the sake of the video. This person has ruined retro gaming, added to piracy. He's a rich asshole for doing this, and this is not okay, and he's ruining people's days. This is why the retro game collecting scene is just ridiculous sometimes. That's why a lot of people like to separate themselves from it, because whenever somebody of any sort of stature, you know, whenever somebody of any sort of, you know, popularity or something decides to talk about retro games, they're automatically considered to be an outsider. They're an outcast. Oh, you're just trying to cash in on the craze. Look, the worst people in retro gaming are these WADA people. The worst people in retro gaming are the ones selling you the game for $1,000 because they're the ones making the profit. Who gives a shit that some individual bought 15 Game Boys and made a table with them? You're gonna go on Etsy? You're gonna shut down all these Etsy stores? I just thought this was the most ridiculous thing in the world. There's really nothing going on in video games, so I thought this would be a fun topic. If you guys like videos like this, where I make fun of people, let me know. And maybe, you know, if this video does well, maybe I'll do more of them in the future, but this is just an meltdown of epic proportions. I know, oh, it's Alex, which is a channel that I watch a lot on YouTube. He does this with fanboy stuff where like Nintendo fanboys or PlayStation fanboys or Xbox fanboys just have meltdowns over situations, and he just sort of picks on them and reads the tweets and stuff like that. So this video was definitely inspired by him. I'll have a link to his channel in the description box down below, but I hope you guys enjoy this. If you hate Logan Paul, like that's cool. Like I wouldn't hang out with the guy or anything like that, but if he wants to make a Game Boy Color table, let the man live. It's his money. Stop wallet watching. Go. If this is your biggest problem in life, your life is amazing and people should be jealous of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.